Hey, hi everyone. Very good morning to all. So, last class we have been discussing about Arman and what are its advantages in taking the backup over the traditional cold or hot backup that we are going for. So, we need to understand about something called Arman configuration parameters. But before we jump on to that, uh, using Armen, last class we have discussed the methodology of Armen to take the backup is it is going to take the backup of only user blocks in the particular data file or a table space, whatever. So this we call it as Armen block level backup. Along with that, it is also possible to take file level backup in Armen. So when I say file level backup, it is exactly same as our traditional cold or hot backup where you are copying one file from one location to another location. So that kind of backup is also possible in Arman, but because of the advantage that we have in block level backup, even in real time, you won't be seeing people really using that file level backup. But possibility wise, yes, Arman can perform both file level backup as well as block level backup, and the default one is block level backup. So now moving on to the next one, that is Arman configuration parameters. So we are going to specify something with these configuration parameters, and for that Oracle has given certain parameters to configure and what values we need to set for them. So in order to connect to Armen, first of all, at command prompt, you need to simply say Armen target and then slash. So here Armen is a command and the target is nothing but the target database. So last class we have discussed about that. So target database means any database which Armen is taking backup, that database is called as target database. And slash means you are connecting as sysdba to the Armen prompt. And once you connect to once you issue this command, you will be getting an Armen prompt like this. And there, if you issue the command show all, then it is going to list you all the Armen configuration parameters that we have. So even though we have many, we are not going to use all of them. So what it is important for us, I just listed down over there. So the first one is retention policy. So retention policy is something like, suppose I have taken backup today, for how many days I need to store this backup. So generally, let's say if I have taken backup today and also I have taken backup tomorrow, and tomorrow's backup is successful, in that case I don't require the previous day backup. Or let's take an example. Yesterday I have taken full backup of the database, it is successful. And today also I have taken full backup of the database, it is successful. So I don't need to maintain yesterday's backup. So that is the usual thing that we can understand. But when it comes to real time, due to certain reasons, clients will ask us to maintain the backup for a certain number of days, like 30 days or 60 days or 90 days or sometimes even 180 days as well. That means if suppose you are going with the 30 days mechanism, so which means today if I have taken backup, then I can delete that backup only after a month. I cannot delete the backup well before. Cannot delete in the sense we can delete it, but we need to maintain. So today if I have taken backup, we need to save that backup till next 1 month. After 1 month, of course, you can delete it and you can overwrite that. So that is how, sorry, so that is how usually it is designed in real time. And to achieve this, we have this parameter retention policy. So as it is mentioned there, it will tell you till what date the backup should be stored, and that can be used for the recovery purpose. So now coming to the point, why we need to store a backup for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days? What is the reason? Sometimes client will ask you to restore that backup into some other lower environments like the test environment or dev environment, etc., in order to retrieve some data out of it. So just taking an example, in my experience, so I used to work for a banking client, and the retention period for them is 90 days. So one day we got an email from the application partners asking to restore almost 45 days ago backup. They want to restore that into the test environment, and that is the requirement. They want to restore that R1 45 days old R1 backup into the test environment. So when we dig down, what is the reason for that and all? So banking, like in every bank, there will be audit compliance team. So audit compliance team, they have identified some malicious transactions on a particular day when they are going through the audit mechanism, and that is the reason they have asked for a particular date. So what happened is those transactions information, the transactions happened, two transactions especially. So those two transactions happened 45 days back. So that time data is there, but the usual mechanism of that application is it will store only last 30 days data in the production database. So it will delete the data. So what happened is because this happened 45 days back, now at the present date those two transactions information is not available in the production database. So where we can get that? That is from the backup only. So that is the reason application team asked to restore that backup 45 days backup into the test database, and after that, after we restored the database, they have identified those two transactions information, and they have passed this information to other levels like there will be cyber security team, then just like how in India we have Reserve Bank, so there will be a central bank, so which will be going to take look after these things. So police case will be filed. So all that things will happen, but for that, all the information will come from this particular backup. So this is one such example why we require to have a previous day's backup, like 2 months or 3 months old backup. So this would be the reason why clients will be choosing to go for having the backup stored for 60 days, 90 days and all. So, so that can be achieved through this retention policy parameter. Now retention policy is having two values. One is redundancy. So redundancy means multiple copies. We can maintain multiple copies, or the second one is recovery window. So as you can see there, redundancy means it will tell you how many backups to be retained. So if you say redundancy of 15, last 15 backups will be stored. So either the backups were taken on the same day, or in a span of 1 week, or in a span of 1 month, it doesn't bother, but it will only maintain the number of backups. So And the second one is recovery window, and this will tell you how many days backup that you want to retain. So like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days and all. So this is the actual value that we use in real time. So we always set retention policy to recovery window for some value, like as I said. So what is the client decided? So that value we are going to keep in there. So now how we are going to change this parameter value. So by default you can see it is pointing to retention policy of redundancy 1. So how we are going to change this is very simple. Just you need to copy that. So suppose as I said in real time we use recovery window. So we need to say recovery window for 30 days. Oh, sorry, recovery window of 30 days. So that's it. Automatically the parameter value will be changed. And now if you see, I have changed this value to recovery window of 30 days. So from now, whatever the backup I will be taking, it will be there in the tape drive for next 30 days. So that is about this retention policy parameter. So I will come back to this backup optimization shortly. So the next parameter is control file auto backup.
Pawan, one question. So
Yeah.
after 30 days, we'll have to manually clean up?
I will discuss about that. We have a
Okay.
parameter. I
Okay.
will tell you about that. Okay, so coming to the next one, control file auto backup. So it includes the control file in the backup. So basically, when you are taking the backup of the database, earlier versions like prior to 12c, automatically control file, automatically control file used not to be backup. Like that is the behavior in 11g and prior versions. So from 12c onwards, Oracle has made it default, and you can see by default control file auto backup is on. So it is off as I said in 11g and earlier versions, but by default from 12c it has made it as on. So as I said, this includes control file backup also in the database backup, which is otherwise we need to take control file backup separately. So that is about that. And parallelism. So as I said, just like data pump here in Arman also, we can make use of parallelism. Suppose here you can see we have this parallelism value set to 1. So if you increase this value to 4, 6, 8, whatever it is, then those many parallel processes will be created, and the backup will be happening parallelly. So which will speed up the process. Then encryption. So from 11g onwards, Oracle has provided this encryption concept. So by default, encryption is off. So you need to enable the encryption if you want your Arman backup to be encrypted. So you need to enable that. And 12c provides you an option to use different algorithms as well. So by default algorithm is AES 128, but apart from that we have something like AES 256, DES 128, etc. So it like which one to use and all we can able to define on that. And how the archeologs will be deleted. So archeologs key will keep on generating. So how we need to delete these archaeologs? One way is to use rman to delete the archaeologs. So generally, when it comes to real time, we will be scheduling those things. So I will let you know about that. So one way is with the help of a shell script, or the other way is with the help of this rman. So we'll be discussing on that as well. And apart from this, there are other parameters as well. So like data file copies, archeolog backup copies, etc. So now coming to this data file copies, as I said in the last class, in Arman you can do multiplexing of backup. Means one backup you can take to tape, and one backup, the same backup, you can copy it to disk also. So this is to have multiplexing, so that even if one backup is lost, at least you will be having other backup to survive. So this is for data file backup, and this is for archeolog backup. So we can do that one. And other parameters are not much important to understand. Now coming back to the point, as I said in the beginning, with the help of Arman, we will be able to take even file level backup as well. Suppose I am taking a data file. I have taken a backup of particular data file today, that is file level backup. And let's say tomorrow, like there is no change in this data file. Like the data in this data file has not been modified since let's say yesterday to today. Then yesterday, if already backup is there, and if there is no change in the data, then why we need to take backup again? Because unnecessarily we are going to spend some time and space on that. So that is the reason what we do is we are going to skip taking the backup, and that will be done with the help of this parameter backup optimization. If we change that to on, then whatever we discussed will happen. So if we set this to on, and if some and if you are performing a file level backup with Arman, and if by any chance one data file has not modified since yesterday or since last backup, so that particular data file will be skipped from the backup. Oracle will skip taking the backup of that particular data file, and it will take the backup of only changed data files. So that is what basically backup optimization means. But however, as I said, in real time we are not going to use file level backup, so that's the reason it can be ignored. So anyone having any questions before we move on?
So, Pawan, just a question. Suppose, as you said, right, we do multiplexing of the control files, correct?
Yeah, right.
You had explained, right? So, suppose if this is not a practical this thing, but I'm just saying, suppose if you lost the control files, so then you'll have to recover this using this backup, whatever we take.
Yes, exactly.
That is what we do. Okay.
So any other questions? Okay, so let's proceed with the next one. So with the help of Arman, we'll be able to take backup of both. We'll be able to take both cold and hot backup. So cold in the sense we are going to shut down the database and take the backup, whereas hot means when the database is up and running, you know that. But when we shut down the database, then Arman will not be able to access the data files. So that is the reason in Arman we are going to place the database in mount state, and then we are going to take the backup of database. So for that the commands are these. So the command to take the backup in Arman is pretty simple. Just we need to execute the command backup database. So for that, as you know, you need to have the database in archive log mode. So if you want to take the hot backup, so let's see here. Okay, so here if you take a look, the backup has been done. Now the thing here is we have not specified to which location the backup should go, but you know how this happened. So we have something called fast recovery area. Maybe while creating the database, you must have seen this. So by default, 8 GB of space will be allocated to this particular location. So your Arman by default is going to make use of this fast recovery area. So whenever you ask to take the backup, it is going to this fast recovery area and it will create multiple subdirectories under that. So first it is creating a directory by the name of instance, and then a directory by the name of database. So here because our instance name and database name is same, so you are seeing both directories with the same name. And then it is creating one more directory by the name backup set, and under that it is creating one directory with today's date, and finally the backup file is located there. So this is what Arman will do, and this is called as Arman backup file, and in Arman's terminology this is called as Arman backup piece. So the terminology what Arman will use is we will not call it as backup file, instead we are going to call it as backup piece. And for one single backup, Oracle may create multiple backup pieces. For example, here you can see this is one piece, and this is another one, and this is the third one, and of course last and finally this is fourth one. So four backup pieces have been created, and three for the database, and the last backup piece here if you see it is for control file and SP file. So that is about the backup pieces, and all these four backup pieces together we are going to call it as backup set. So it's like individual data files, how you are combinedly calling it as a table space. Similarly here, multiple backup pieces, we are going to call it as backup set. So that is how we are going to take the backup of the database. And similarly, you can use this command in order to take the backup of archive logs. So here also it has taken the backup of all the archives into this backup piece, and of course it has taken even control file and SP file. So taking the backup of control file and SP file will happen for every backup, either it is a database backup or it is a archive log backup. So now we have seen two separate commands to take the backup. So both can be clubbed into a single one, that is backup database plus archive log. So this will take the backup of your database as well as archive logs in a single shot. So let's say you feel that I don't want to go ahead and take the backup into fast recovery area, but I want to use any specific location of my own. Then we are going to execute a command like this. Now just like how we'll be using exclamatory symbol in order to run OS commands in SQL prompt. So here in Rman also uh, we can able to execute the OS commands, but for that we need to say host, then single quote, and then whatever the command you want. Suppose I want to create a directory here in U03. So I would be using host single quote whatever the OS command that we want, again single quote n and semicolon. So this is how we need to do. I mean we can execute the OS commands. So now let's say I want to take the backup of the database into this particular location. So we would need to use the command something like this. So we need to say backup format equals to so it's a location and then the file name. So I want a specific file name, then even I can mention that. So here the file names will be created with this particular name. So the problem here is we cannot define this location permanently. So every day, suppose you want to take in this location, then every day you need to use that option format equals to so and so. That is a problem. But really, it will not be a thing in real time, because when comes to real time, first of all, we will not take the backup into a hard disk. As I said, most of the times directly we'll be taking the backup into tape. Okay, so from 10G onwards, Arman has given us the option of taking a compressed backup, so that the backup size would be reduced and it will save the disk space, just like how we have the compression option in data pump. So here also the same thing will happen. So depends on the data what you have. So usually the compression ratio will be again almost 10 times when compared to the original size. And you can specify a log file as well while taking the backup. So if you do that, then the whatever the things that are being displayed on your screen right now, so all this information will be recorded into a log file, so that you can have a track of that. So just like in data pump, how we have the log file to check at later point, sorry, so to check at a later point of time. So here also we can do that with the help of this. But when you do this, then on the screen, the things will not be displayed for you. So let me show you that. So you need to simply say arman target slash, then log file equals to so and so. Then you would be executing this command. So as I said, you will not get any output on the screen. Rather, the output will be keep on recording in the log file. So once it completes, again you will get back your arman prompt. Then we'll be able to check what is there in the log file. So backup has completed. So now you can see there is a log file, and if you open this log file, you will see the same whatever it used to display earlier. Now it is displaying it in the log file. That's it. So Arman gives you very much advantage that you can see whatever the backups that you have taken till now, you can see all that backups information with the help of a single command. So if you want to know how many backups you have taken, how many types of backups you have taken and all, some information related to them, even if you don't have a log file, this list backup command is going to help you. So what are all the backups that you have taken? All will be displayed here. So we have started initially taking the backup of database. So it will tell you the details. So every backup set, as I said, backup set is nothing but combination of backup pieces. So every backup set will have a key number. So it is usually in incremental phase. So by the time you reach the last key, it will be in incremental phase, starting with 1. And then it will tell you, so the second column is type. So it will tell you which type of backup it is, whether it is a full backup or we have something called incremental backup. So later we will be discussing about that. So it will tell you that. And of course the size, where you have taken, whether you have taken to disk or tape, and how much time it has taken to complete this backup, and what is the completion time, and what is the status, whether the backup is available now or not, and what is the location of your backup piece name. So location and the name both will be given for you. So when and all you have taken backup, so so those things will be recorded for you here. And what are all the files included in this backup, so that will also be mentioned. Suppose here in this particular backup piece, these 4 data files backup is included. Similarly, if you take this backup piece, these 4 or 3 data files information is included. So like this, it will give you that info as well. So now coming to the point that uh, you know so we discussed about that option, retention policy set to 30 days or 90 days, whatever. So the question is, now after we complete 30 days, whether the backup will be deleted automatically or do we need to do anything. So once the backup has crossed the 30 days or 90 days limit, then Arman is not going to delete that backup, but rather Arman is going to mark that backup as unnecessary backup, or in Arman terminology we call that as obsolete backup. So let me, because here we have changed it to recovery of window, so it won't show you anything. So normally if you cross that as I said 30 days or whatever the time limit you have set, so Arman is going to mark that backup as unnecessary backup, and then we need to use a command in order to delete that unnecessary backup. So if you want to see all such unnecessary backups information, then you need to run this command report obsolete. So as I said, obsolete means unnecessary. So this is going to list you that all these backups are not necessary. We can remove them. So what we can do? So once we have this information, we need to cross verify really these backup pieces are not required for us or not. And if it is not required, then you need to use command delete obsolete. So the moment you say delete obsolete, it will ask for your confirmation, yes or no. So the moment you say yes, then it is going to delete the backups. If it is in tape, it will delete in tape. If it is in disk, it is going to delete in disk. So that is what will happen with the backups which cross the time limit.
So, Pawan, one question.
Yeah,
So we are not going to do it manually, right? So this will be automated, right?
automated in the sense you need to put these commands in the script. I will tell you.
Okay. Okay.
So we need to put the command in the script, and when that script is executed, then these things will happen. So automatically, Harman by its own will not delete any backups. It will only
Okay.
mark
So
it
you
as
it will be a .sql file, and then you will write this command, right? How to connect to Airman, the
yes.
way you. Okay.
Right.
Got it.
Okay. So sometimes what happens is, suppose I am taking the backup into this fast recovery area, which is located in U01 mount point, and assume that due to some reason I got a space issue. So assume that I got a space issue and I deleted these backup pieces at OS level. So now you can see I am running rm command at OS level. So I am deleting these backups because I got some space issue, and I feel that that is highly important first rather than having the backup. So I deleted these files. Now when you delete these files at OS level, Harman will not understand that. Harman will still thinking that the backups are available. Now you can see in this location, in this directory with today's date, there are no files. I have deleted all the files. But when you say list backup, you can see here, it is still saying that this is the backup piece name and it is showing the status as available. Because as I said, Harman doesn't understand that you have done some activity at OS level. So whenever you delete such things or you performed such activities that you deleted some Arman backup pieces, then you need to tell to Arman that these backup pieces are no more available. And for that, we are going to use this command crosscheck backup. So if you run this command, Arman will crosscheck physically whether this backup is existing or not. If the backup is not existing, it will mark that backup as expired. So now you can see after I ran the command crosscheck, because the file is not available, it is stated as expired. Now, anyway, like the backup is marked as expired, so we don't require to maintain that expired backup information. So for that reason, we can delete the expired backup information as well with the help of this delete expired backup. So again, it will prompt you. Just you need to say yes or no. Then automatically this will be deleted. So now one more point is here it is prompting you to provide yes or no. So if you are manually using this command, then fine, you will be there to issue yes or no. But let's say you put this in a shell script, and when this shell script is executing, then it should not prompt you, because at that time maybe DBA is not available to give the input. So for that reason, we have another command, same command, but only thing is we are just adding this clause no prompt. Means don't ask me anything, straight away go ahead and delete the backup. Similarly, if you delete archaeologs, because of these two things will generally happen because of space issues. So even let's say you deleted some old archaeologs because of space issue, then you need to tell to Armen that these archaeologs are no more available at OS level by executing this cross-check command, and after that you can execute this delete no prompt in order to not ask you anything. So sometimes in interviews they might ask you the difference between obsolete backups and expired backups. As I said, obsolete backup means backup is physically available but it has crossed the retention policy timeline. Whereas expired backup means the backup is not available at OS level, and that is where we marked that backup, or we ran the command cross check and Arman will mark that backup as expired. So now, as I said, with the help of Arman, we can be able to take file level backup also. So this is the command to do that file level backup. So just you need to say backup as copy database. So whatever the data files you have, so those data files will be copied into the backup piece. Okay, so as I said, the greatest advantage with Arman is whatever the backup that you have taken, you can be able to validate that backup, because if that backup is corrupted, then there is no use of that. So that is the reason you will be able to validate the backup with the help of this command. So when you run restore database validate, it is going to scan the latest backup whatever you have taken, and it is going to tell you if any errors or if any such things are there, it is going to report you here. But if something it is not reporting, which means your backup is perfect. So as I said, this command is going to validate the latest backup, but if you want to validate a particular backup, then you need to run this command validate backup set and backup set number. So backup set number, as I said, you will get it from list backup command. So suppose here I have backup set 2, so I can simply say validate backup set 2. So that is how we are going to do that. Now 11G provides you one more good option, that is you can validate your database before taking the backup. So the above commands are after taking the backup you are validating the backup, but this command is validating the database before taking the backup. So if any corruption is there in the database before taking the backup itself, you will get to know about it. So it will give you a long list of information. For example, to take here, you have system data file. So it is going to scan each and every data file. So for example, here it is saying, say for system data file, the status is okay, which means there is no corruption. If at all any blocks are corrupted, then here it is going to mark those blocks, means how many corrupted. And same thing here, it will tell you how many blocks are failed and how many blocks are corrupted and all. So like this, it will do for each and every data file here, including the archive logs and as well as control file and SP file also. So here you can see it is checking the corruption in SP file and then it is checking the corruption in the control file and of course archive log file.
So is there any other way to find corrupted blocks?
Yeah, we have other way, but this is a straight away way that we can do that.
Okay, but then this will require a DB access, right? Um,
I didn't get you.
no, this will require a DB access, right? Not everyone, not all DBA will be given this
Yeah,
access, right?
yeah,
Okay.
obviously only DBA will be having the privilege.
So maybe not in this case, maybe when the time comes, I would like to know how to identify the corrupted blocks.
Yeah, I will tell you.
Okay.
This is one way only. That's what I told you. Here it will clearly tell you how many blocks are corrupted here, and here it will give you that information. But anyway, as I said, we have that concept in recovery scenarios. I will show you how to recover a block as well.
Okay.
That time we will discuss about that. So by default, flash recovery area will be having 8 GB size from 12C till 11G it is 4 GB. So if you want to increase that, then you need to use this particular command. So now coming to Harman recovery scenarios. So before we jump on, let me take one full backup of database. So done. Now let us perform this one. So from 12C onwards, Oracle has given advantage that you can execute even select statements from Arman prompt. Earlier we used it to execute any alter commands, but select statements are not allowed. But now from 12C even select statements are also allowed. So really you don't require to connect to SQL prompt. Okay, so I have this particular table space or data file by the name users. So I will remove this and then we'll proceed with the recovery. So as I said, I'm going to issue rm command from here itself. So at OS level, the file has been deleted. To confirm, you can use this. So you can see it is saying no such file or directory. Now we will be able to recover that with the help of this commands. So generally we can run these commands one by one. First, we are going to make the table space offline. Then we are going to say recover table space name, sorry, restore, then recover, and then finally making the table space online. So we can execute these four commands individually also, or otherwise we keep them in this run block. So the advantage of run block is one by one all the commands will be executed by its own. So you don't require to wait till the first command completes or till another command completes and all. So let me follow the same thing. So commands are so simple. Sorry, I did a mistake. So commands are so simple. That's it. So rest Arman will take care. What happened? So it is saying some error was written. So let us see. Okay, so table space offline is done. Then let us restore this. Okay, restore completed, but somehow in run block it's not completed. Anyway, it's fine. So then we need to say recover. So you know already restore means it is going to restore the data file from the backup location to original location, and recover means it will apply the archive logs and the redo log files to bring the data file to the latest uh, timestamp. And finally we are going to make the table space online. So after that, if you check, the file should be available at OS level. Yes, now you can see the file is available at OS level. So that's how we are going to do for a data file. But if you lost a system data file, we cannot make system table space offline. So compulsory, we need to shut down the database and place it in mount state, then do the recovery and all. So for that we have these commands. And if you lost redo log files, then you're going to use these steps. So you are going to when I say if you lost redo log files, I mean to say all the redo log files. Suppose if I have a group and in group I have two multiplexed copies in different locations, and assuming both the multiplexed copies in both the locations are lost at the same time, then we are going to recover the redo log file. But it is a very rare case that happens. Suppose one file I have in U01 that is a separate hard disk, and another file I have in U02 that is also a separate hard disk. So we don't expect generally both U01 and U02 hard disk will crash at the same time. So if that crash happens, both the hard disk crash happens at the same time, then only we will end up in a situation to recover the redo log files. And when you are recovering, either you can set the SCN number if you know the SCN number, or we can set it some timeline. So to which date and time we require to recover. Similarly for control files, if you lost all the control files, then you are going to run these commands in order to recover it. But if you lost only one multiplexer copy of control file, you don't require this recovery. You can just again do the multiplexing to the location wherever it is lost. Now, one thing that you need to observe here is, both this redo log file recovery and control file recovery is called as incomplete recovery. And when you are performing incomplete recovery, either it is redo log files or control files or archive logs, at last you will be opening the database with reset logs option. So that is mandatory. And what in interviews they will ask you a question: what happens when you open the database with reset logs? So there are two things that happens when we open database with reset logs. Number one, it is going to create new redo log files if at all redo log files are lost. And number two, it is going to reset the log sequence number, which means the sequence number what your archive logs are following, it will be reset back to again 1, 2, 3, etc. So here I have given those points. So what happens if you open the database with reset logs? So let me show you that. So I have one file in U01 and another file in U02. So let me remove both the files. So now we need to first shut down the database. So here shut immediate will not work. So you need to completely write it as shut down immediate. So which means through rman prompt itself you can be able to even shut down and start up the database as well. So then startup mount. So as I said, either you can set until SCN if you know the SCN number, or you can set until time as well. Just give me a moment. So I'm just taking a timestamp. So let's say set until time. So I'm just taking the format. Okay. So even we can provide the archeolog sequence number as well. So we have sequence 25. So let's try that. So here it is giving the SCN number as well. So if we want, we can make use of that. Okay. Okay, it's fine. So basically here, when we are trying to restore to a particular time, it is stating that it requires some SCN, and we can see the message. It is saying data file 1 must be restored from the backup older than this particular SCN. So when it says older than this SCN, I'm just going one SCN number back. So here it is showing 317. I just went to 316. Then I restored the database until that particular SCN first. And finally, I recovered again the database. So the first one is restore. Then you can see it has restored all the data files till that SCN number. And then I used the command recover database until that SCN, and finally open the database with reset logs. So as I said, once we open the database with reset logs at OS level, it will create the files. So let us see whether at OS level the files have been created or not. The redo log files what we have deleted. So now you can see the files have been created with the latest timestamp. And let me give alter system switch log file in order to generate new archive logs. So the last sequence number here you can see is 25. So actually it should supposed to continue with 26 etc. But as I said, when you say open reset logs, the sequence number will be reset. Again, you can see it is starting from 1. So I'm just giving multiple log switches. So now you can see the sequence number again started from 1, 2, 3. So in interviews, they will ask you this question. No, why? What is the? I mean, what happens when you go with opening the database with reset logs? Then you need to tell these 2 points. One is it will create the new redo log files, and number 2, it will reset the log sequence number. So again, it will start with 1. So that is what will happen here. Let me modify here. So anyone having questions?
When we give it as recover database until cancel, what exactly that until cancel will do then in command?
Until cancel also will do the same, that it is going to cancel the recovery till the latest archeolog file. For example, in our case, if 25 is the last archeolog file that is generated, so Oracle is going to recover the database till this 25 and it will cancel the recovery there. So, I mean, that command actually, when we are doing user managed backup and recovery, so we use it to use that command. But in Harman, instead of that, we use until SCN or until sequence.
Okay, fine, thank you.
So similar we have for control files. Then we have the steps to recover a full database. So if all the files are lost, including SP file, how we are going to recover that. So we will see this in the next class. So we have some more scenarios like recovering a full database. Then 12C introduced a new concept of recovering a single table. Then, as we talked about, if some blocks are corrupted, how we are going to recover with the help of Arman, we will see that one as well. So, anyone having questions before we close for today?
Pawan, this is Sachin. Can you send me the yesterday's video? I couldn't attend the class.
Yeah, sure. Okay,
Yesterday
guys.
there was no class, right?
Yeah, he mean to say like last class.
Okay, okay. I thought yesterday was missed. I also was saying.
No, last class. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining and have a nice weekend. Let's meet again on Monday.